Welcome back to In Case You Missed It Wrestling. I am your host, Blackhawk, and today we're talking about Smackdown. If you didn't watch, Smackdown this week was a disappointing end to a really good week. It's a real stinker of an episode. If you didn't watch it, I would just suggest not even attempting to. I'm going to give you all the information you need to be up to date for next Friday, for Monday, whatever we're going to need the information for. You're going to be up to date for the next episode, right? Not even really worth your watching. I watched it twice and I'm just as disappointed. I thought if I could watch it a second time, maybe I would find a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. No. I unfortunately got nothing. I am incredibly disappointed by this episode of Smackdown. I'm disappointed by The Rock, and I'm disappointed by just a couple of different things, and we'll get to it in just a second. We'll talk about everything. I'm not going to focus as much on The Rock because I already made a video about The Rock and this whole situation, and you can find it up here. I'm going to have it linked up here. If you want to go watch that, go ahead. But as far as The Rock goes, I'm not happy about him being around. So let's go ahead and get into this episode because I'm sure I'll have more frustrations to voice throughout the entire thing. We would start this episode with Nick Aldis telling Cody that he is no longer in the 6-man tag team match for the main event tonight. Says it's coming from the final boss and he wants to see him in the ring. So we're already seeing the final boss changing things and making waves where he doesn't need to be. Beginning of the show, first 5 minutes. We then go into Drew McIntyre versus Jimmy Uso. This was the highlight of the night. You start off really strong, and I had high hopes for this episode after this match. Really, really good opener. Drew McIntyre deserves to be a top champion. Now, I get the whole story with him last year at WrestleMania and at Money in the Bank and all this, but he deserves to be a champion. He has put in overtime compared to a lot of the other people that are getting chances, and he 100% deserves that championship. And I think what the craziest outcome of the chamber to me would be, or maybe not craziest, but the outcome I might enjoy the most would 100% be Drew McIntyre winning and beating Cody. I think that Cody's done a fantastic job as champion, but I think it might be time to pull him off. Let him rest. Let him get a couple other things done. Let him get a couple other things done. There's so much time to do any sort of other champion things that you want Cody to do with the championship with Gunther or, whatever. There's a lot of time for these things, and I think that Drew McIntyre deserves his shot as champion. Jimmy Uso looks incredible. Jimmy Uso has really impressed me going on his singles run, much like Jey Uso did. I think it's just taken a lot more time for Jimmy to find that side of himself. Jey had to find it pretty early on and had to cement himself as a good singles wrestler. And Jimmy, he had a little bit more time to sit behind tag team matches and bloodline things, whatever. But now that he is by himself, he's fully flourishing, and I don't see why he shouldn't be in the United States title scene right now. I would not hate him being U.S. champion. As much as I love Shinsuke Nakamura, I really believe the United States Championship should be sort of, I wouldn't say around, I'm not even sure how to phrase this, but it shouldn't be stuck on a champion for too long, if that makes sense. It should make rounds, and they should be defending it weekly, and there's a chance of anybody becoming the United States champion. I think it's the best for the belt. In one case, like Logan Paul held it for way too long, doing nothing with it. Now that it's back on TV, we have the opportunity to make a couple of people champion and make this sort of like a king of the hill situation where everybody's climbing towards that hill, trying to knock the king off. We have multiple people trying to knock the king off and become the king. I think Jimmy Uso would fare really well in that. You get Carmelo Hayes, LA Knight, Shinsuke Nakamura, Andrade. That's a laundry list of incredible talent that could really benefit from a style of story like this. This is overall the best opening. Is the best thing on the card. Really was. Jimmy Uso would pick up the win with a roll-up win, which is kind of crazy, but I kind of dig it. I gave it an 82 out of 100. 82 out of 100. 4.1. Pretty good, and it's sad to say that was the best of the night. Drew would attack Jimmy Uso after the match and pretty much berate him and say that he was nothing to Drew and a lot of different pretty mean-spirited things. He would have tried to attack him again before security would break it up. I kind of like the feud. I'm not gonna lie. I like Drew McIntyre a lot. I like Jimmy Uso a lot. I think they have a big year in store for both of them as far as how their career has panned out and looked. Could be really good. We would then see Solo Sikoa pull up in his car and meet up with Jacob, Fatu, and Tama Tonga. Solo apologizes for the spike last week to Tama Tonga and says it's an accident. Jacob would say that if it wasn't, he wouldn't be standing here right now. Solo would then try to get out of the tag team match by saying that he would be in the corner of Jacob and Tama, and Jacob would say it's him and Solo running tonight. Solo was obviously not too happy about that, but he went and talked to Nick Aldis to let him know of the change. We'd also then get another funny R-Truth and Carmelo Hayes moment before their match. They kind of run that who's on first joke again, but involving the Miz, and Miz calling their tag team Mellow Don't Miz, which is funny. It's arguably funny, right? It's great for a one night thing. I don't think this should be a long running thing at all. It's a fun one night, get Carmelo on TV, get Miz on TV, get R-Truth, and get LA Knight on TV, right? Just get them on TV, give them some time, because these are people that, people want to see on TV. Carmelo is one of the people that a lot of the audience is begging to see on TV, and give him a spot, give him a little goofy match, right? But I think it does well when he's working with vets like this. LA Knight might not technically be a WWE vet, but as far as wrestling business, he is 100% a vet. Carmelo Hayes, still a young guy. And so him working with three veterans, I think is great. They talked about in the LFG commercial, you can practice all you want, but the best experience you're going to get is in the ring. And I think it's really good. It speaks volumes for Carmelo Hayes that they're putting him with these vets and trusting him to run with them and do it well. It speaks volumes. And I think Carmelo Hayes also has a pretty big year in store. Funny thing is, though, R-Truth says that he has a Louisiana legend wrestling with him. Who could it be? Who could it be? None other than LA Knight. Louisiana Knight, which I thought was hilarious because as somebody who lives in this part of the country around, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, in that area, it is hilarious because I make that joke all the time. People will say, I went to LA, and I'm like, oh, when did you go to Louisiana? Did you go to New Orleans? But it's funny to me because I make that same joke. Some people might not have enjoyed it as much or understood it, but I get it because I make that joke. Pretty lame joke, but I enjoy it. We then go into their match, R-Truth and LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes and The Miz. Pretty decent match. R-Truth figures out new ways to be really funny in every match he's in. Like at one point, Carmelo Hayes was laying down on the mat, and R-Truth goes down for a 3 count. He doesn't try to pin him; he goes down to count himself, and Carmelo Hayes kicks out, and then was looking like, "What the heck?" It's funny. It's funny. And then R-Truth went to tag in The Miz. It's not his tag team partner. Pretty decent match. LA Knight had a pretty big goof, but overall, the rest of the match was pretty good. Shinsuke would attack LA Knight after the Shinsuke Nakamura would attack LA Knight, allowing for distraction to secure Mello and The Miz the victory. We got 72 out of 100, 3.6. It was enjoyable. It was fun. It's more comedic than it was like a traditional wrestling match, but it was fun. It was fun. Every now and then you need one of those. And it doesn't have to be a 5-star classic, but if you can sit there and have fun and enjoy it, I don't see the problem. Now, if all matches are like that, I start to see a problem. But one, if it's even just one a show or one a week or one every now and then, I don't have a problem with it all. And that's exactly what this was. It was a fun match with some faces that people love to see. No problem with it. I enjoyed it. It was a very, very good moment. We then get a Charlotte Flair video package talking about her challenging Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. It is what it is. And the more we get closer to this, the less I get excited about it, because I'm starting to hate Charlotte Flair more. It is what it is. I was a huge Charlotte Flair fan and was sad when she got injured. But this new character she's come back with is not good. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I understand there's like an evolution to the character, and she was supposed to come back face, and then the crowd booed her and she turned heel. In the heat of the moment, turned heel. It is what it is. We would then get a Tiffany Stratton promo saying that ever since she won the title, everyone has been obsessed with her. And last week, she had Nia Jax beat until Candice LeRae interfered. At Elimination Chamber, she and Trish Stratus will make sure Nia Jax comes to an end. She would then start talking about Charlotte Flair grabbing a chair and sitting over her and announcing she's challenging Tiffany Stratton for WrestleMania. She says that rumors are true that no one loves kicking a woman when she's down more than Charlotte Flair. Crazy. Tiffany would say that she is not coming for Charlotte Flair's legacy, but coming for what she wants the most, which is being the top girl in the WWE. Nia Jax and Candice LeRae would come out and tell Tiffany Stratton that she isn't even going to make it to WrestleMania, given that they will destroy her and Trish Stratus at Elimination Chamber. And after that, she's coming back for her title. Tiffany Stratton would tell Nia to just give up. The title is hers now, and once she takes care of Candice, she won't have anyone to do her bidding, and Tiffany Stratton would tell Nia to give it up. The title is hers now, and once she takes out Candice, she won't have anyone to do her bidding for her. Candice and Nia would make an advance toward Tiffany before the referee would step in and let them start their match. Now, this is where things start to go downhill. It was an okay match, right? It was an okay match, but they had some odd spots in this. Just some miscues and miscommunications. Tiffany Stratton still looked strong going into Mania, but it was a mess of a match. Charlotte Flair would come out at one point and just sit at commentary. And it just didn't really make a difference for the match. It just kind of sat out there and talked ish the whole time. Nia Jax would try to, help Candice, is what it is. Tiffany Stratton would pick up the win. I'm giving this match a 68 out of 100, which is a 3.4. You basically get a 3 for finishing the match if you do everything right. That's where we're at with the champion of SmackDown. I don't think this was Tiffy's fault totally, right? Candice has her part to play in this, and the whole thing felt rushed because of the Rock segment. I think they had to push a lot of things and cut a lot of things. Maybe this match was supposed to get an extra 5-10 minutes and they didn't have it, and they wanted to hit all the big spots and they just kind of rushed it, didn't quite get it the way they wanted to. which is understandable. It is, things change, within 24 hours of the show. It's just how it goes. Whenever you hear about these changes, like something big is happening that nobody was prepared for, the show always sucks. And this is one of those things that fell victim. The match definitely fell victim. Nia Jax would attack Tiffany Stratton after the match, and Trish Stratus would attempt to help but fail, and Charlotte would stand over Tiffany's body and point to the Mania sign. Yeah, not excited, but it's what we're getting. So, no use in complaining now. Naomi and Bianca Belair would be backstage. They would be asked about their match next week on Raw with Liv and Raquel and say that they are confident going into this match and are glad to know what finally happened to Jade. Even though Jade has not texted them back, they're fighting for her and will go on to Elimination Chamber, and one of them will face Rhea at WrestleMania. Now, I think the important part to note on this, you couldn't tell by the inflection on my voice, is Jade has not texted either of them back, which there's fan rumors going around that Naomi did this to Jade. And I've even heard rumors that Bianca and Naomi did this to Jade so that she and Naomi could have the spotlight. I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. They want us to believe it's Liv and Raquel. And personally, I don't believe it because I think they would have owned up to it from the beginning. I think they would have just came out and said, hey, we did that. That was us for sure. But I don't know. We then get an Alexa Bliss video package. I'm so glad she is back. I don't know in what capacity she will be working with the Wyatt Six, but they have been teasing it. So be on the lookout for that. They haven't made any sort of moves or announcements or whatever. We don't know anything yet. So be on the lookout. We would then get to the Naomi versus Liv Morgan match. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez would come out first, followed by Naomi and Bianca Belair. Liv and Raquel would attack Bianca and Naomi before the match could even start and have to be separated by security and referees, causing this match to not happen. Now, I do know this match was cut due to the Rock promo. So that is the result of, Rock promo. This is a match we've seen. It's not anything crazy, right? Like, they're still getting a match next week. It's not going to be the end of the world, but it is still disappointing that that's what they have to do because the match got cut because of the crappy promo The Rock would do later. We would then see Nick Aldis backstage telling Liv and Raquel to leave before he calls the cops after they attacked Naomi and Bianca. And they would just laugh in his face and leave. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven would walk up and say they are ready to take Bianca and Naomi's spot at Elimination Chamber. Nick Aldis would tell them that they're still going to the Elimination Chamber. Nothing has changed about that. Chelsea Green would complain that she doesn't have a match in her home country, and Nick Aldis would tell her that next Friday she has a United States Championship match on Friday Night Smackdown. So, no idea who the opponent was, but he said it's going to be fun. I don't know. I'm actually kind of excited about that. I've really enjoyed Chelsea Green as the United States champion. I think she's done a good job defending it, especially since it's just been Michin and BFAB so far. She's done a great job with them, and they have also done a great job with their matches. So I'm not complaining at all. I like this feud a lot. This is probably one of my favorite things going on SmackDown right now is Chelsea Green with the United States Championship and just the crazy kookiness that she comes up with every week, and the matches that they have are good. So it's a fun story to follow along with, even though there isn't anything like a long-term story going on. It's a fun, week-to-week episodic story that we're looking at on this one. Then we get to the Rock promo. And this, yeah. I'm not going to get too deep into it, right? I said earlier, I have a video on this already, and, I'll put it back up here in the timestamps or whatever. if you want to go watch it. This promo could have been done in about 5-10 minutes. Took about 30-45. Right. Announces WrestleMania in New Orleans. WrestleMania 41 will be in New Orleans next year. Awesome. That's actually really cool. I plan on hopefully going. It's a year away. We'll see what happens. But he would then go on to call Cody down to the ring, explain how they have become friends since Mania last year, and even their moms have become friends. She tells Cody that he wants to take him to new heights and for Cody to become his champion. Cody would ask what that means, and The Rock would tell him he wants his soul. What the hell does that mean? Either way, The Rock will await Cody's response at Elimination Chamber. That whole portion sucked. I was live for this, and I almost shut off my stream. I was so disappointed. I almost turned Smackdown off. And nothing after this could recover what happened that night. Nothing could help recover that promo. Everything after this was just brought down and made worse. Because now I was so uninvested, I couldn't enjoy the rest of it. The DIY match that came out right after this, I was really looking forward to. And it was good. It was a good match. DIY would come out beforehand and hold a moment of silence for Pretty Deadly, but Pretty Deadly would come out during the moment of silence. It was a good match. I'm disappointed by how it ended. I think having the Street Profits come out there that way was a good idea. I will give him that. I think that's a great idea. I was just so excited that Pretty Deadly was that close to winning the tag team championships that I was pissed when I saw the Street Profits, which is good. That's a good thing. I want to make that clear. That's a good thing. The match was eliciting emotion out of me. And when I didn't get the payoff I thought I was going to get, I was either angry, shocked, or happy, right? That is a very good thing. They did a great job. Unfortunately, this match has no rating as it didn't finish. They came out before anybody could officially win. And, as I have said before, I don't rate matches without ends. Just like I didn't rate the Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez beatdown of Bianca and Naomi. Right? But the SmackDown tag team division is awesome. And I wish that they could get more time on TV. I really do. That whole division definitely deserves more time and a bigger spotlight. But hey, it's Mania season. Of course, they're not going to get it until post-Mania. It is what it is. They want Cody to be the number one guy, which, I mean, he is. I don't know why I wouldn't think that. But I think that division is on fire right now. And to not push this to the top of the card, sad. We would then get Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman and Damian Priest. Well, there's still a lot of tension between Solo and Jacob. And Braun Strowman and Damian Priest would have a pretty cool moment, early on in the show talking about this match ahead. And honestly, since moving to SmackDown, Damian Priest, in my opinion, has become so much better. So much more tolerable. I enjoy him so much more. I kind of like this nice Damian Priest, character. Because I feel like in real life, he's actually a nice guy. It's easier for him to play this nice guy and be the nice guy because I think he is one. Right? And like the best way possible. Not one of those internet nice guys, but like an actual good person. And I like Braun Strowman a lot. I've said that before, and I've enjoyed Braun Strowman ever since he debuted. I really do. I think I want the best for him. And he did a pretty good job, Friday night. I've had questions about his health and his knees. And, he left the match still looking strong, which is good because the last couple matches he has looked awful at the end. Like they have just dismantled him and he's just there at this point. He looked strong. Damian looked strong. Solo looked weak. Looked strong, but still looked weak compared to Jacob. Jacob looked strong, which I think is exactly how they wanted this to play out, and it played out well. Now, this by far was not the greatest match of all time, but it was pretty good. It was good enough. It was the end of the show. The show was an overall stinker, and it was the finale. You know, it is what it is. I'm not excited about the direction we're going anymore, but enough about that. Let's keep talking about the match. Jacob Fatu would super kick Solo Sikoa after Damian Priest dodged it and did not look sorry. But Damian Priest would end up picking up the win. So that's it. Give this match a 74 out of 100, which is a 3.7. And next week, we don't really know much. You know, they've been keeping the SmackDown cards pretty close to their chest, which, okay. Like, they announced NXT, most of NXT beforehand. They announced Raw beforehand for the most part. SmackDown, they kind of keep it close to their chest up until like mid to late week. So, I don't know. We know that we are getting Chelsea Green in a United States Championship match. That's it right now. And then the next night is Elimination Chamber. So, should be a lot of fun. I think we're in for a good week this week. I hope we're in for a good week this week. NXT looks really good. Raw has been consistently really good. So, I have high hopes. You know, I've been incredibly negative the last couple of days about WWE. I have high hopes now. I have to look forward. I can't look back. Looking forward, I think we're in for a good time. But we've got to get to the good time first. But that'll be it for this match because I don't have anything else positive to say. If I keep going, it's just going to get more and more negative. And I don't want to be negative. I want this channel to be positive about wrestling. So, this has been, in case you missed it, wrestling for Friday Night Smackdown. I am your host, Blackhawk. I'll either see you live for Monday Night Raw tomorrow, or I'll catch you in case you missed it, wrestling, or live for NXT. I'm live very often for these shows. So if you're watching these videos and enjoy them, come hang out live. It's a lot of fun. I try to be as entertaining as possible. This Friday I would not have recommended coming in because I was bored out of my mind. I didn't even know what to do. I was so bored. But I have very, 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 very high hopes for the coming week. I think it should be good. But for now, I'll see you next time.